of Theron Q Ramacharaka. Below this video in the description area, you will find a link to the source of the following article. This article by Sasha Spencer is called "An Insider Exposes Hollywood's Satanic Underside. Hollywood Acting is Demon Possession." An opening quote by Brian Bates in The Way of the Actor. All actors are modern-day shamans. Ancient shamans would use masks or rocks or some sort of magical object that had power to it to invoke spirits. All right, cautioning us to never idolize any so-called star. Our insider says all successful actors, stars, celebs, and so on have been heavily compromised in order to achieve their dream. Some are clones of stars who have been replaced. One of the most revealing exposés of Hollywood. No depravity is too great for Hollywood's Illuminati elite, who play central roles in inducting society into their satanic cult. We all know that Hollywood is perverse, but an insider has posted new information that is beyond the pale. I'll put a link to that expose below as well. Right? It confirms everything I encountered when I flitted among the margins of show business in the 1980s, and much more, including human cloning and child sacrifice. Film sets are sexually highly charged. My own encounters with showbiz strangeness ran the usual gamut of offers to sleep and to play with producers and other power players, group sex, and so on. Or, upon being cast as a lead in a play in a fairly large city, which could have really helped me along, I realized that I needed to live with and sleep with the octogenarian director for the duration of the theater run. I declined the part. Or finding out a cast member's girlfriend is really a she-male, or a famous country western singer likes to be used as a human toilet, or going backstage to meet Danny Thomas, the star of Make Room for Daddy, after a performance, at which time he grabbed me and rammed his tongue down my throat. Roseanne Barr says, "It's a big culture of mind control, too. MK Ultra mind control rules in Hollywood. If you don't know that, Google it, look into it. It's really hard for artists to find their voice in the media about any of this. It's levels of brainwashing and mind control. What price to make it in showbiz? Well, there are two realities to the industry. First, there are the insider bloodline types who, when they get out of film school, a call is made and a career is launched. Shirley MacLaine and Warren Beatty might be an example. Many of these people come from multi-generational abuse families. It also helps you if you're Jewish, and I'm not. Then there are the nobodies who eventually come across to the pay-to-play scenario. Basically, prostitution, sleeping with producers, directors, and so on, and being on call as an escort. If you say no, well, then your career goes nowhere. According to author Darwin Porter, many stars, including James Dean, Rock Hudson, Marilyn Monroe, and Lucille Ball, started their careers as prostitutes. This is why you've never heard of me, with me being, once again, Sasha Spencer. The author of the expose and I shared the moniker of right-brain creative types who were idealistic and naive about the world. It's what saved us both in the long run. Okay, the grooming stage. In order to reach the higher echelons of entertainment with no family or tribe connections, you must work yourself up through the drug use, sexual permissiveness, prostitution, escort stages, to things like mind control, handlers, and into darker levels of spiritual possession or soul loss at a profound level. This sets the stage for the performer to become part of a very dark world. Artists who resist are a huge threat. So the controllers compromise you in some way with evidence of your perversions. Or they threaten you. Or they finally kill you. And if you are a big money maker, you are often replaced. And I don't mean by another actor. This way, you, or a 2.0 version of you, can keep on making money for the dark side. We're talking about losing one's soul, people. It's real. You can be cloned. Cloning has been around for many decades. We're just kept in the dark about it. Our former entertainer has many stories to relay about how famous celebrities changed in character and looks. Her suspicion is that they've been replaced. She names such stars as Michael Jackson, Anne Margaret, Joan Baez, Jane Fonda, and Jennifer Connelly. She has friends in the industry who knew these entertainers personally and believed they had indeed been replaced. She also mentions Bob Dylan. Recently, I saw an interview with him. It was on 60 Minutes, and he admitted on camera that he had indeed made a deal with the devil a long time ago. He didn't look happy. No, I saw that interview too. He didn't look happy. Excuse me. Replacement can be confusing to detect because many stars have plastic surgery with horrific results. Basic mutilation. Think Mickey Rourke or Priscilla Presley. In their cases, extreme surgeries could be used as a form of torture to fall in line, where the actor/performer is replaced. The surgery takes place after the cloning to improve the original. Clones never live up to the originals. They deteriorate rapidly. There are many subtle differences. However, many actors will do anything to their bodies and minds to work in Hollywood. Most are damaged people. Cautioning us to never idolize any star, our insider says all successful actors, stars, celebs, and so on have been heavily compromised in order to achieve their dream. I mean, after all, show business is just a distraction. Now, I will repeat that if you didn't quite catch it. Showbiz is just a distraction. How many times here on my channel, Theron Q Ramacharaka, have I emphasized, don't get distracted. In ancient Rome, the poet Juvenal, describing the political power scene of the day, said, bread and circuses. Meaning, if you keep the masses fed and entertained, they are less likely to kill or even notice their invisible handlers. So it all boils down to the elite, and to the demonic force that is behind them. She spoke of the Madonnas who groom the younger women to eventually take their place with the sexual psychic rituals. She said that all these women are mind-controlled and abused. Our insider states many celeb charity boards are fronts for prostitution, sex trafficking, and drugs. Many celebs are set up with boyfriends and marriages that are arranged. The actresses agree to do porn in exchange for all the perks of being with a rich man, but knowing that they will lose it all if they break up with the guy. Human sacrifice. Snuff films are just human sacrifices. These films are done when a sex slave or prostitute or callboy has gotten slightly haggard and past their sell-by date, or has pissed off the wrong people. There is a huge market for these satanic sacrifice films among the exclusive, connected, and wealthy circles, that is, the demonic Illuminati. She also touches on the pregnant actresses who are suddenly not pregnant. Their babies are used for human sacrifice. She claims Bristol Palin has been pregnant 4 times. Bristol Palin has been pregnant 4 times, and 3 of the babies disappeared. She was suddenly not pregnant. You can read more about that in this current article I'm reading from. There is a link here. So if you follow the link to this article, then you can follow that one as well. Our actress believes there is a long list of famous people who have sacrificed a child, including many political figures. Many mysterious accidents have happened to big-name people, and thereafter, magically, their career takes off. Now, I know where the saying comes from, whereby in signing a contract, people joke about giving up their firstborn child. For example, George Bush Sr. had 2 little girls who died. Ever heard of them? Remember Barbara Bush keeping a fetus in a jar? I can attest to this phenomenon, and I am very suspicious. Shortly after my beautiful young mother was killed in a horrific accident, weeks after the death, I was invited to Washington, D.C. by a U.S. senator. My father was his financial campaign manager. I went to the home of George Bush Sr. for a party. Holding Poppy's hand and chatting with Barbara, I remember being in total and complete shock and profoundly dissociated from my body at the time and for years afterward. Soon after this presidential visit, my father's career took off like gangbusters, and we soon had oodles of money and a family jet. And who was flying that jet? Henry Kissinger, among many other elites. Pretty suspicious if you ask me. A sacrifice? I don't know. But it makes me want to go, Kansas no more. Our informant ran into the dark arts very early on. These dark arts are ruled by the Illuminati, reptilian, and negative ETs, negative humans, and the military-industrial complex. The negative gatekeepers need a certain number of true artists, light worker types, as camouflage. Sometimes these light types are targeted to move to a higher level on the playing field. At the same time, they are surrounded by relatively nice handlers who don't corrupt them. But the conclusion is that at some point, everyone in the industry has to make the decision to yield to the corruption or to get out. That is, if it's not too late. We are human batteries to them. They pilfer our higher energy. How often have I, Theron Q Ramacharaka, said that? We are human batteries to them, and they pilfer our higher energy. Drugs, alcohol, and spiritual possession make it a much easier choice for the actor or performer to compromise, to think, I'll do anything to get a job. That is when the evil really steps in. Many of these people keep drugging and drinking to make their harrowing, dark choice okay. But many cannot keep up the illusion and want out at some point. Excuse me. If they protest or tell the truth of what is really going on, they are often replaced. They become surrounded by dark people, dark organizations, and dark non-humans, ETs, or hybrids, you see. Once this happens, they barely have control over what happens next. Many victims of the satanic industry are those who have no family ties to speak of. Their lives are easier to erase and dispose of, all planned, all by design. Conclusion. We, the people, especially in the West, have allowed Hollywood hype to distort our sense of reality. None of this is by accident. All has been carefully planned, all by design. Our world is held hostage by an illusion run by a satanic cult. The classic Faustian deal with the devil is real. This contract made by many in the entertainment industry allows something horrible to possess the individual spiritually, psychically, emotionally, and sexually. One's entire being is consumed by dark energy and personal free will is extinguished. Many artists take the deal. I don't think it ever works out well for any of them, as there is no honor among thieves. All of us, citizens of this 3D earthly plane, those who are rightfully meant to be here, we all need to stop being complicit in our own destruction. We can do that by continuing to wake up. We need to grasp the fundamentals of this reality. Just say no to the false illusion. We are being preyed upon by a preternatural force that deals in the grandest of illusions and pushes forth the great work of the ages. Look it up. Our only hope to escape this evil, dark reality is just to shred the reptilian scales from our eyes, disengage from the lie, and stop feeding the beasts. I'm Theron Q Ramacharaka.